Welcome to Talking About Sports. We are on location at Blade's Barbershop. We got William Wilson, Mountaineer Mike Freer, and Reggie Walker. Reggie, this is your barbershop, right?
It's my shop, baby. I love it in here.
On location.
Everybody's in the building.
Tell us who's here.
Home court.
Said done ran out because he always do that. He be scared of cameras. He must got. No, I ain't gonna say that. Big Warren in the back. Well, actually, that's the front. D done ran out the door. We got the new Eagles fan Kelsey right here because he wasn't really
Eagles.
fan. But he a new Eagles fan now. In the shop.
And who else?
Big Ski over there. Proud of A&T.
Hey. Pride. Reg, can you kind of explain the rules here in the barbershop about what goes and what doesn't go? What flies and what doesn't fly?
Anything goes at the barbershop.
Anything goes in the barbershop. Yeah. And this is where you get, see, it's for the culture, man, because in the shop, that's where you get life lessons from the barbers. Man, barbers give life lessons to you.
Are we going to get in trouble from LeBron James? Is he going to sue Blades and talking about sports?
Man, no.
I'm just saying,
LeBron ain't gonna hear us.
And unfortunately, there's some Cowboy fans in here, Will, like you.
Unfortunately, that's America's team. That's good Americans.
Yeah, but we're Redskins. We're Native Americans team, so we were here first. So all right.
Yeah, but really, you Native American team?
As far as you know, those are my people. With
that racist name?
No, we're not. Not if you ask the majority of our good friends.
Ask the ones that are not getting paid by the league.
They didn't get a questionnaire. They didn't get a questionnaire.
Yeah, because they're not getting paid.
That's the checks in the mail.
You never know. Yeah, it's been in the mail a long time.
Guys, NBA news, the Charlotte Hornets, everyone's favorite team, I guess, around here.
I'm a Bulls fan.
Maybe not. They have a new general manager. His name's Mitch Kupchak. He went to North Carolina. I guess that's his qualifications.
Let me slow clap for that.
Okay. He went to North Carolina. The owner of the team went to North Carolina. And he used to be the GM of the Lakers. Mountaineer Mike, what kind of a track record does he have as a general manager with the Lakers?
I came up with assistant under Jerry West.
That's good
those years.
So far.
Was there for 17 years and won a couple of titles with the Lakers. Built them.
So far, so
when
good.
It went down. Yeah, he has a good track record. His track record against everybody else that's coming up was good. It's nothing. I just don't know what he can do to really fix his franchise in the immediate.
Was he better than the assistant GMs of Philadelphia and Houston, two teams on the rise?
Well, here I'll say it this way, and you got to think about it from a certain standpoint. I don't agree with this mantra, but the reality of the situation is this: if they had named an assistant GM from somewhere else, everybody in the city would have said, A, who the hell is that? And B, are they any good? Yep. At least with Mitch Kupchak, they don't say who the hell is that. They just say
they know he's.
They know the name, so they assume he's going to do something good.
Yeah, so, how many times are we going to watch this movie though? When they brought
we've been watching the same movie in the NBA for 40 years.
They brought in Larry Brown. Everybody was excited about that. We saw where it went. They brought in Rich Cho. We got a basketball guy.
Oh yeah,
everybody excited about that. We see where this went. This is just, to me, until he shows me something, I think the common denominator is Jordan. I don't think the GM issue. Jordan is your common denominator. I don't think Jordan still figure out.
Well, can Mitch Kupchak coexist with Michael Jordan? Is he going to have autonomy to draft who he wants without going to Michael? Although he is.
We all know that. No, Mike has autonomy.
He can.
Mike has the autonomy. He may be able to recommend, but if Mike decides I don't want to, he's going to still do what he wants to do.
He's going to let Mitch Kupchak do the job. Mitch Kupchak would not take the job if he didn't get assurances from Michael that he was going to be able to do the job.
But the question for how long?
Well, there's the question. What is he going to do with this franchise? Is he going to tear it up? Is he going to blow it up and get rid of Kemba Walker, get rid of Steve Clifford, and just completely do it his way from the bottom up?
Steve Clifford has demanded a meeting. He wants to know his status.
But I don't even care about Steve Clifford because the reality of the NBA is this, and you know where I'm going with this. And I'm not questioning anything you're saying about Steve Clifford. But the reality is this. In the NBA, you win with what? Talent. I don't care who the coach is. If they don't have enough good players on the franchise, on that roster, they ain't going to win. And I don't care who the coach is. Well, look at D'Antoni.
Wait a minute.
He's been terrible when he hasn't. He was great in Phoenix when he had Stoudemire, right? Then when Stoudemire started getting hurt, he was terrible when he got fired.
So Robert Horry ran Steve Nash into the table, but that's all right.
Look, if you ain't got good players in the NBA, you ain't going to win.
Here's the question. How is Mitch Kupchak Mitch Kupchak going to get the talent?
How do you
Pray,
get talent in
gonna
here?
He gonna pray. That's
Well,
it.
All right, Mitch Kupchak's job as a GM is to acquire talent.
Correct.
How do you acquire talent in Charlotte? It's not like you're going to the Madison Square Garden of the Knicks, the Staples Center in Los Angeles. How do you get talent in Charlotte
Well,
other than
there's
you're
two ways.
playing for the Jordan brand?
You do it the same. No, they don't care about the Jordan brand. Half these kids never saw
You can
Michael
get
Jordan play
an
live.
endorsement deal with William Wilson Clothing, maybe.
But these guys are multi-million. They get endorsement deals anyway. None of that stuff is irrelevant. And everybody talks about you can't get guys to Charlotte. Well, there's only one New York, one Chicago, one Miami. The rest of and one Los Angeles. The rest of them, you're playing in Milwaukee, Salt Lake City, Sacramento. You don't want to go to these other cities either, but people still go because you're getting millions and millions and millions of dollars. And there's only 32 teams to choose from, so you can only be so picky when you only got 32 people to choose from, and not all of them need just
There's two
skill
ways
set.
you're going to get them. There's two for Charlotte. You're going to get them through the draft.
Guess it
hit a
right.
home run through the draft.
You got to guess right.
Or you got to make some trades, and you end up taking on big salary, and you hope they work, because if not, you end up with a high-priced guy that doesn't work out.
on a
And
trade like Nick
that's-
Batum.
But let's make a point
well,
on trades.
they
though.
went and re-signed him, so that's on the Hornets.
In the NBA, what do you trade in the NBA? What do you trade?
Bad contracts.
You trade contracts. Thank you.
Yep.
So I don't. We can talk about players, this, that, and the third. You got to trade contracts. So if they want to get Batum out of here, they got to bring back $30 million a year.
Exactly.
What they paying him?
Exactly.
So
You
they
gotta
trade contracts.
You got to take our trash out, but we got to take your trash.
One man's trash is another man's treasure. I guess.
Now, Mitch Kupchak, one of the first few orders of business, Steve Clifford has demanded a meeting to know what his status is. Mountaineer Mike has said gone on record, has said he's probably going to be dismissed by Mitch Kupchak. And what do you do with Kemba Walker? He's got, 1-2 years, or can opt out
Next
after
year
one?
will be his last year of his deal. He's only getting $12 million a year.
You think that Kupchak is going to be a hatchet man? He's here to clean house.
I think, you know what, we have our friend JT, John Tobias, said from the middle of the season on that he thought they should break up the team, should trade them all, and try and trade Kemba. And
Well, he said to lose games, too.
Go in the tank.
He said
is basically
tank,
what he
yeah.
said. I disagreed with him. I thought they should have kept Kemba at the trading deadline. I was glad they did it. Now that we're going to hit summertime, you're looking at it going, and Reggie's mentioned it too, what is your most tradable asset? It's really, if you want to get rid of Nick Batum, you may have to give up a Kemba Walker.
And see, I don't think any other GM's gonna fall for that though. That's the problem.
Well, here's the deal. Kemba Walker he's an all-star, borderline on superstar.
I think he's definitely an all-star.
Oh, he's proven to be an
Two-time
all-star.
all-star.
He's a leader of this franchise. He's such a big part of this franchise. You can't imagine him.
What do you
not
think?
being
You like
around.
Kemba Walker? You think you hear? I mean, he may not be Ben Simmons to you,
I
but
don't think he's an all-star. I don't think he's a great second guy.
well, he's been in
We
two
need
all-star
another
games.
number one.
He's been in 2 all-star games, so he is an all-star.
Oh, he's an all-star. Okay.
Kemba, do you think? But do you think
That's
they
more
should
of a
keep him?
popularity contest than anything
They
else.
shouldn't keep him, no.
You think that it would be better for them to trade and get assets?
Yeah, get assets.
While the iron's hot.
Right. There you go.
But then you got to be a fan. Here's the other problem is, since the Hornets, when the Bobcats came back, they haven't exactly, the fan base hadn't exactly embraced them here.
No.
They've had moments where, when they've had playoff years and they've done a good job in the house. Going to a Hornets game, for me as a fan, is a lot of fun. I think they do a great job of treating the fans there, everything except the product.
The prices are high. You're seeing how
They're
much
high-
concessions
they're high
are.
They're high everywhere.
But they're not as high as they are most places.
They're high.
They're high
Most
everywhere.
places,
And
yeah,
it's
most
like
places
they put
are like,
products
they're
out.
like 25th.
I've been. I guess I've been in the media seating for too long. I don't know how
No,
much
they are high. There's no
a beer
question.
or a bottle
But
of
if you-
water or.
But that's anywhere though. That's and I'll be honest. I mean, you can go to the Panthers across the street. Well, not really across the street, but down the street from there.
sound like
those
Charlotte
prices are
Motor
high, too.
Speedway. We can bring your own beer in.
Well,
So-
look,
When
that's
LeBron
that's
comes to
racing
town,
culture.
the
That's
prices
different.
aren't so high.
That's all right though.
What's
We
that?
like that.
When LeBron's in town, the prices aren't so high. They managed to sell out the place. When Kobe used to come to town, the prices weren't that high. They
Yeah.
would still,
No, the
if
prices
you
are
win,
still
the prices
high.
are town. You give a product,
No,
worth selling up.
no. You give them a product, but the problem is the product is coming into town. Anybody can put together enough money to come
no
to one
question.
game. So if LeBron comes to town twice a year, but you got 39 other
Right.
games you got to put in that seating.
My point is,
I don't
if, they,
care. Yeah,
if
but
they put a product out there like 3 years ago when they made the playoffs and they won 48 games, the fans will be there.
And they
they'll
got
be there
one home game.
temporarily. They'll be there temporarily
But-
for a while.
but that's
you had
the
to build
point.
consistency. You had to build consistency.
They'll be there
So
when
I
they
agree.
win.
So I agree with you there.
My point is, if they gut the team, if they go in the tank,
gonna be an
or
empty
whatever,
gym.
this fan base, which isn't really, it really hasn't embraced them since they returned. in my opinion.
But there's a reason why.
You're saying don't give him another reason to walk away.
How are you going? You're really going to have some trouble with.
Well, part of Mitch Kupchak's job is going to be a salesman and work with Jordan and say, hey, we're tearing it down, but we're going to come back stronger. All right.
But let's be real about the fan base. Fan base did not embrace when they first came in because of basketball at all. They didn't embrace because they didn't like Bob Johnson. And the bigger part, they didn't like the fact they had to pay property taxes to pay for an arena they didn't want. That's what if motel taxes would have paid for that. There are people who still have a lot of resentment for that stadium being there.
All right, we're gonna get Reggie. Gonna get a haircut today?
Yeah, I'm gonna get a cut. I'll get a cut shortly.
All right,
gotta get right.
We got some postseason NBA awards, some NASCAR to talk about, Carolina Panther news. We're here at Blade's Barbershop. Here I'm talking about sports.
I didn't know I was live. Hey, look, Nick. Hey, Nick.
One job. Yeah, one job.
I didn't know I was live.
What difference does it make?
Y'all didn't tell me I was live. If I didn't know I was live, man, I'd have been over here, man.
You were talking trash. We were doing mic checks.
Well, you know what? I want D to go live.
We were talking about Ben Simmons. He shouldn't be Rookie of the Year because he's a red shirt rookie. He had a whole year to practice with the 76ers while the guy from Utah, he didn't have a chance to do that. So I don't think he should be Rookie of the Year.
Go make mama cry.
All right now. Hey. As I said,
All right, welcome back to Talking About Sports. We're here at Blade's Barbershop, and it is live in here. Not just because there's a lot of shenanigans and a lot of dialogue going on here in between the break, and we'll definitely need to get to that. But
Kelsey
guys,
was just called khaki. He said he was told to represent for the khakis by D, the barber, as well. So,
can you translate that?
well, he's talking about light-skinned people. That's what he's talking about. He called them khaki.
we khaki.
I didn't say it. I'm just explaining what happened.
Yeah, I'm khaki.
Come on, Butterscotch, it's all.
You're right.
Okay, it's all right.
I'm khaki in here.
The jokes fly in the barbershop, baby.
Did your tattoos show up?
Will Reggie, is this how it is at
Yes,
most
sir.
barbershops?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you can't take jokes in the barbershop, you can't ever get your hair cut. That's
Yeah.
the reason.
There are two rules
You
of
need to go to a
barbershop.
beauty parlor.
Bring
then,
your
right?
thick skin
And no rules.
and don't take it personal.
Yes. And leave your girl at home.
Yeah.
Some people feel that.
Some people feel that one.
Yeah, but anyway.
Okay.
Let's get back to it.
All right, NBA postseason awards.
Let's talk about it.
Mountaineer Mike, you got an MVP and a first team All NBA. Let's get everybody MVP and first team, and then we'll go around. What do you got?
My MVP was LeBron James.
Okay.
I think he
I agree with that.
averaged almost a triple-double. First time in his career, 15th season, first time he's played all 82 games. He led the league in minutes. He's in his 13th year, leads the league in minutes, averages almost 28 a game, over 8 rebounds, over 9 assists a game. On a team that has absolutely no defense, his best player was Kevin Love, lost for half the year. He had probably, in my opinion, probably his best year.
I agree with that. I completely agree.
All right, you
LeBron's
got
the
it.
MVP.
I don't. All right,
completely agree.
All right, who's your just MVP? Then we'll go around first team. First team. Who's your MVP?
MVP is LeBron. And here's why for me. And all the numbers you mentioned, I get all that. But let's think about it like this. LeBron, J.R. Smith, Jeff Green, and Kyle Korver, the only guys on that roster that played more than 70 games.
Will, who's your MVP?
Westbrook.
Westbrook.
I think Westbrook's MVP.
2 straight years of triple doubles.
Triple-doubles.
Not even the big O
Right.
Oscar Robertson did that.
Exactly. And the thing is, that's why I was when Freer was counting it off, he said he almost averaged a triple double. How are you the MVP when you almost do what somebody else actually did?
All right, everyone seems to
that
think
math don't add up to me.
everyone seems to think the consensus is James Harden's going to win the MVP. Now, my MVP is LaMarcus Aldridge of the San Antonio Spurs. He did more with less around him. His number one guy, Kawhi Leonard, was only played for 9 games. He picked up his game, led a team, and by the way, they were even out of the playoffs for a while, and it's going to lead me to another category later on. So That's my MVP.
And let me
I
pick
ain't
you
mad
back
at
on
that,
that, Kev,
less
because
around
I'm
him.
going to give you a lot of credit for that because, and here's why. You talked about the injury to Kawhi, all those things. I get all of that.
Or is treason or sedition if you wanted to ask
I
some
also
people.
say part of awards are expectations, right? What are the expectations before the season? Mm-hmm. LaMarcus Aldridge was basically on his way out of San Antonio
Yeah.
after last year. Pop couldn't figure out how to coach him, couldn't figure out how to communicate with him.
A contract extension went a long way.
And then all of a sudden, this guy becomes what he was to get him that big contract to begin with.
We got a second one. All right,
Yeah.
now
By the way, just real quick, James Harden, you're right. James Harden appears by all accounts to be the MVP.
And I wouldn't have a problem
I
with
would
that.
vote for LeBron, but it's not the crime of the century. James Harden.
no.
He's had a.
But the thing is,
He's had a great
Kareem
year.
Abdul-Jabbar,
Awesome season.
Michael Jordan, Wilt Chamberlain, they could have been multiple. They could have won many more NBA MVPs, but they just didn't want to give it, I guess, to the same guy
And I would argue,
so many
every
times.
year.
And I would argue if you take Chris Paul out of the equation, James Harden is doing the most with less. If Chris Paul is not,
But
if
he's
you
got,
take Chris Paul out of that equation,
Oh wait, Chris Paul needs to come over here to the Blades Barbershop from Clemensville, North Carolina.
Yeah, tell
First
Chris
team
Paul to come
NBA
through.
for me: LaMarcus Aldridge, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, and LeBron James. So there you go. There's. How about your defensive player of the year, guys?
Defensive player of the year for me is Anthony Davis.
I got him too.
He leads the league in block shots.
He put on a clinic last night against the Spurs last night.
And
Gets
he-
away with a lot of fouls too, by the way.
Listen, man, when
Well, he's a
you're
superstar,
known
he
as a
earned
defensive player, you're going to get that. That's
Yeah, he
a
earned that.
reputation. That's a reputation type of thing. So for me, I'll go with Anthony Davis. He erases shots. He rebounds the basketball. And then I would argue on his roster, to be that good defensively and still put up those numbers on the offensive end of the floor, that's a true two-way player. That doesn't make you the defensive player of the year, but it does add to what you're doing from a production standpoint.
Mountaineer Mike, who you got?
My pick was Rudy Gobert from
Okay,
Utah.
very deserving.
Only
He's a
played
former
55 games, so he's not going to make the league leaders in every category. But if he had played enough games, his numbers, he averaged over 10.5 boards a game.
I didn't think he played enough to win that, but he's definitely deserving. Will, who you have?
I'm good with your guys. I don't really have a.
Anthony Davis. I have Anthony Davis, Joel Embiid, DeJounte Murray, Danny Green, and LeBron James because that's I think they're the best. If you give me
Kinda
five of
funny,
those
LeBron.
Not
guys,
surprised you got a spur in there again.
I got two in there. Because not because they're Spurs,
How'd that
but
happen?
because they're
Because
deserving.
they're Spurs.
They're divert. By the
Because
way,
they're
Danny Green was
Spurs.
second team All NBA defense last year,
Now, he's a
and
good
DeJounte
player.
Murray will be first team
Kind
this
of
year.
funny you mentioned LeBron because a lot of people who
Nobody gives him
prefer
credit for
Harden
playing
over
good defense,
LeBron.
but he does play good defense.
Well, a lot of people pick
I like Harden over LeBron, though.
Defense?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, don't do that. Kelsey, who your
You know anything about
MVP,
defense?
Kelsey?
MVP, Ben Simmons.
Yeah. Okay. Next. Never mind.
Yes.
Let's go back to what we're.
MVP.
Obviously, that's been disqualified.
He's clearly a Sixers fan. Why?
Okay, yeah.
Why though?
All right, Rookie of the year.
Have
Give
you
me,
seen what he has done?
Oh, yeah. So is he your rookie of the year too?
give me Rookie of the year.
Rookie of the year,
Man, you must
MVP.
be, look, man, I'm about to get salty in here.
That's right. Well, come on with
Simmons
it.
ain't
All
no
right,
rookie.
hold on. All right, hold on.
Rookie. No.
Give me Rookie of the year.
The paper says
My
he's a
rookie of the
rookie.
year.
Rookie.
My rookie of the year is Donovan Mitchell.
Thank you.
He's
I got.
he got a top 4 seed in the Western Conference.
With a team of jabronis.
And that conference, mark
team
this
of
down.
jabroni.
That conference has 10 teams.
With a bunch of
with
Australian
40+
dudes,
wins.
man.
The East only has 8. Donovan Mitchell is balling.
Absolutely.
He's the rookie of the year. And oh, by the way, Donovan Mitchell was drafted in June 2017. Ben Simmons was drafted in June 2016.
Who cares?
Which means Ben ain't no rookie.
all right. All right.
Paper says.
I don't
You
care.
can't believe everything in the paper.
Yeah.
Will, who you got for rookie?
Don't believe everything you read.
You got.
All right.
Paper
I
rules.
got Ben Simmons.
Y'all looking at paper race?
But here's the thing. By the letter of the rule, that's a fair argument. But I refuse to give it to him.
Paper
because I don't think
says-
he's a true rookie. That's my opinion.
All right.
He's allowed to get it.
Well,
All right, first team, my first team all rookie: Donovan Mitchell, Ben Simmons, Kyle Kuzma, Brandon Ingram, and Jason Tatum.
Kuzma.
I think
Kyle Kuzma. Yeah, I like that one.
got. I'll just mention 6. We're going to come back. We still have 6-man most improved and coach of the year, and I think they're deserving of some discussion.
And I'm about to get a cut, baby.
All right, we're coming back with more talking about sports from Blades Barbershop right after this.
Lick my lips on this one. Yeah. It's been sunny all week. The weatherman said today's almost gonna be as hot as it's been. plus the words that I speak. I got out of the shower, hit the barbershop, and God in the seat. They talking about the game from last night and placing bets on who gon' win tonight's fight. I got out of the chair, fresh to death. Look down, check my phone, cause I just got a text. My man's at the car wash, said it's gonna be on tonight. There's a party, and it's gonna be tight. I ain't gotta be told twice. Went and got me some rest, cause it's gonna be one of those nights. Can already see it. Text again, said you saw one I slipped on and a best friend. When the sun's bright and the wind don't blow, you really hope that tomorrow comes slow. Yeah, I ain't got a care in the world, just got paid. Got the slick shades and the fresh fade. We gon' have a good time, everybody keep it tight. Get right, keep it moving all night. Yeah, get my dance on. Yeah, come on, come on, come on. Yeah, let's go. Check. It's almost 10, the sun's gone, but it's still hot, and my phone's been ringing non-stop. My dog pulled up in the coupe, push the button and there's air where there used to be a sunroof. Yeah, we're stunting hard, switching lanes on the highway. Get to the spot and the line's down the block. Not a problem when you flow like this. Dap the bouncer while the valet park the whips. The DJ's dropping those hits, and these chicks look like...
All right, we're back here at Blade's Barbershop on location.
So you saying he a better defender?
We're talking some NBA. There's a lot of acrimony here at the barbershop, which is, from what I'm understanding, not uncommon. Now, let's finish up with our NBA. Your sixth man of the year, anybody?
Lou Williams.
Everyone seems to go with him. I'm not, but I'm going to...
I mean, Lou's a dynamite.
I love Lou.
First player since '85 to start less than a third of his team's games and still lead the team in scoring and assists.
Now, he's not Skip to my Lou from the N1 league, right?
N1 league.
He's
That
not
was my league.
Now, he's not the same Skip to my Lou Williams from the N1 league, right?
That's Ray for Austin.
Okay.
Yeah, Rayford. Let's skip to my. Who you got for six man?
Six man, Manu Ginobili, San Antonio Spurs.
It's gonna be a
they
Spurs.
were
It's
out
gonna
of
be
the
a Spurs.
playoffs. They were out of the playoffs until Manu Ginobili at 41 years old. I can't even.
Wait.
I can't even repeat the language that Alvin
until Aldridge brought him back in.
Nope.
Now they back
He
in
kept
playoffs,
him in there all year.
and Ginobili brought him
41-year-old
back.
Manu, 41-year-old
no
Manu
doubt.
Ginobili rallied
No
the
question.
Spurs when they were the 10th seed, got them up to 7. They're
thought-
going to be back there.
I'm waiting for him
Alvin
to get
Gentry.
a Spurs tattoo logo on the top of my
I thought it was Marcus Aldridge
I'm waiting
that
on
rallied.
And by the way, Donovan, Alvin Gentry from Shelby, North Carolina, who turned me on to Bridges Barbecue, said, and that was a loose ball between some guy for the Pelicans and Ginobili beat him. And Alvin Gentry, according to Sean Elliott on Spurs broadcast, said, "I can't repeat what Alvin Gentry said because it ended in ing." He said, "How are you letting that 41-year-old guy beat you to the ball?"
Listen, that all sounds well and good.
All right,
The sixth man of the year is Eric Gordon. More than 20 a game on the team with the best record in the league. Chris Paul missed a number of games. James Harden missed a number of games.
That's not a
the
bad
constant on that roster was Eric Gordon.
most improved.
Oladipo of the Pacers.
Absolutely.
That's probably
I have a tie, but he's part of my
that's
tie.
probably the
Who's the other
no.
one? DeJounte Murray?
Giannis Antetokounmpo from the
Giannis
Bucks.
Antetokounmpo?
Yeah, because I think he's
Greek
racist.
freak?
Yeah,
Greek freak.
So let me tell you a story about Greek Freak. So there's a story out there, right? It's
all Greek to me.
When they found the Greek Freak,
he's got brothers.
somebody went over to scout him. I'm going to leave names out. They went to scout him at a gym over there. He had a game or whatever.
Yeah.
And they get there, and it's like 30 minutes before the game, and nobody can find him. They don't know where he is. So eventually somebody says,
Drinking Uzo.
"Oh, hey, he's out back." So they go around the back of the gym, and they see a guy sitting on a bicycle smoking cigarettes. Come to find out, it's Greek Freak. He's chain smoking cigarettes, and he looks up and he goes, "Oh, game starts in 10 minutes." Runs in the gym, warms up, puts up 40, 20, and 10.
Not bad.
Greek freak.
Okay.
Exactly.
I mean, he was already a star.
Coach
before this
of the year. I'll go first. Dwayne Casey of the Toronto Raptors.
Here's my again. I talk about
They're the number one seed in the East, by
but
the
I
way.
talk about expectations, and they were one of the top 3 teams in the East the last 3 years.
All right.
For me, it's about expectations. So I'm gonna go back to Utah, and I'm going Quinn Snyder. They lost Gordon Hayward last year. They were expected to be done.
Yeah.
They only won 3 less games this year than they won last year.
David,
And
the
they were
best
4th seed
record
in
since the
West,
middle of
in
January,
toughest part
besides
of
the Rockets.
And oh, by the way, if memory serves, is it 4 of the 5 teams in their division are in the playoffs?
Yeah,
It's tough to
Yeah.
live.
That's
It's
a
tough
problem.
my
division.
pick was
Yeah.
Quinn
That's
Snyder as
coaching
well.
right
That's
there.
coaching,
But
baby.
you could also
He learned under
do-
Coach K, by the way.
You could also.
Played it
I
good.
picked Quinn Snyder as well. David, the best record, second best record in the NBA since the middle of January. You could also pick Brad Stevens for the same reason that you said.
Yeah, because they lost Gordon
he
Hayward.
lost Gordon
Absolutely.
Hayward.
I don't know about
D's clapping because he loves the Celtics. Shout out to D.
Yeah.
Ski, now Ski, who your
Now,
coach
you
of
said
the year,
something.
baby?
About, he was outside
NBA coach
smoking
of the
with.
year. You going with Brad Stevens too?
Hold on.
Okay,
Reg.
Not a bad call.
A great story we saw this unfold this week is Andre Ingram from Highland Springs High School outside of Richmond, Virginia. My good friend Sean Connolly went to VCU
Yes,
with
sir.
me, did a tremendous feature on NBC 12 in Richmond. 10 years to make his NBA debut and had a really good night. It was on a 10-day contract, but I guess get to finish out the year. Yeah. Andre Ingram, never give up. This guy epitomizes never give up.
And how about this for crazy? In the G League, he made $19,000 for the season. Mm-hmm. In the 2 games with the Lakers, he made $26,000, $13,000 a game with the Lakers. So that man, he doubled what he made.
Well, he earned
In 2 days.
and I guess he's going to be at least. He may not make the playoff roster. But he's going to be on the practice roster. And he's still going to go through the playoff. Well, no, they're not in the playoffs or anything.
No, but he'll go through off season.
I'm hoping he gets a chance.
I mean, listen to this: 19 points in his debut game.
Dude.
This is the
Only
NBA now.
Lakers to have more points
actually
in their
play
NBA
softball.
debut. Magic, Nick Van Exel,
Nick the Quick.
and Jerry West.
Speak on it.
That's incredible.
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
For a
That
guy that long?
That tells me somebody wasn't paying attention to talent. That tells me somebody that should have been watching this guy for to be there that long. For this guy to be able to come off the bench and do that, somebody wasn't doing their job, sleeping on their job.
Everybody wasn't
not
doing
paying
their
attention to
job.
I'm
talent.
glad you made that point. Where did he go to school?
Highland Springs High School in Richmond,
Went
Virginia.
to American University.
He went to American
American
University.
University.
He probably was there for 4 years.
Yep,
And like I've been telling y'all forever, if you turn 21 before you enter the NBA draft, it's an unwritten rule you're too old to be drafted.
Yep.
That's the problem.
His college coach
Exactly.
told him to go overseas.
Does that apply to Ben
play.
Simmons?
That applies to all of them.
All right.
Well,
Yeah,
Ben was like
but
37.
totally
Ben was like
agree.
37.
I mean, he walked up. Imagine what he could have done the rest of the season.
I know.
Just imagine what he could have done.
No, I agree.
176 years old.
So I hope they give a chance. I hope he's on a roster next year.
I would-
At
I would
minimum,
hope so.
somebody's going to invite him to camp. He's going to have an
And I
opportunity.
hope he's on a roster. Anybody can't. But inviting someone to camp is a publicity stunt.
All right, live discussion here at Blade's Barbecue. We're going to take a break here. We're going to come back with
Barbecue?
some.
You said Blaze Barbecue.
Did I say barbecue?
Yeah, you did.
We need to get some barbecue.
That boy hungry.
I do.
That boy
I need to
hungry,
get
boy.
some.
Ain't no barbecue.
All right, live discussion here at Blade's Barbershop, and we're not through. We got plenty more talking about sports coming up right after this.
We're going to go a full timeout. All I got to say is it football season yet? This stuff is too good to pass up. There's so many things that have to go right in a no-hitter. A huge game changer. I would have won the Powerball like 6 times. Kevin Casey here, and this is your podcast, talking about sports, the Carolina's own sports talk show.
This got started as a way of wanting to run my own business. Me and my business partner Warren was working for another guy for about 3 years. He's a Cowboys fan. I'm a Packers fan.
Man, let me say something. Nah, now it's been very fun. It's been a family atmosphere from day one.
And then one day we just decided to go shopping for places to get our own spot. This is where we ended. It'll be 18 years, October the 2nd. This is my main man, Al. I met Al back in, what year? 88, 89. I ran across Al because Al was my brother's college roommate at North Carolina A&T. So, was one of my grooms was in my wedding. That's like another brother. We've been kicking it, having fun, man, ever since 1998. And the first day we met, man, we hit it off like we've known each other forever. Here we are, almost 20 years later. If anybody knows sports, we got 2 diehard Dallas Cowboy fans, 1 Philadelphia Eagle fan, 1 Green Bay Packer fan, 1 New England Patriots fan. So you could about imagine what those conversations go down in the barbershop.
it's just a lot of junk talking. You know, it's all about who think they know sports.
Basically, when my teams win, talking a lot of junk, and when their teams lose, talking a lot of junk, and even when their teams win, talking a lot of junk.
That civil rights activist right there, he got the best jokes.
Always about the sports, though. About the Cowboys. Not the Tar Heels, not Duke, but the Cowboys.
We keep a gentleman's bet around here. We usually do $1, 4 quarters, soda, because we family. We don't want to argue about fall out over money. So we do a gentleman's bet of $1 or a soda.
Let me keep it full, clean, and then keep it dark up top.
Gotcha. We a part of this neighborhood, and we gonna be a part of this neighborhood. It's a blessing to be here because we've had guys that we gave them their first haircut. Now they have their own families. Now we're cutting their sons' hair.
Barbershop rules.
All right, welcome back to Talking About Sports. We're on location at Blade's Barbershop. William Wilson, Mountaineer Mike Freer, Reggie Walker. NFL preseason schedule's out. Not that that's a big deal, but it just means that football is not too far away, so that's always good. I think Carolina is going to play Pittsburgh, Miami, and who else do they usually play? Buffalo, New England. They always play some of those teams every year.
They try to make people watch preseason football by having the Panthers play Buffalo because of Sean McDermott. Don't nobody care.
So they charge you. They charge you those prices.
You're gonna
They don't charge you regular season prices.
Exactly.
I love preseason football. I may be the only one that
You're
does.
the one.
I love preseason football. But no, I love preseason football. That's the last time you see these guys trying to really work hard to get on a roster. So I love watching. Like,
Well, there's going to be a new XFL, and there's another spring league coming up.
Okay, I'll say this again in English. It's the last time you see these guys on a roster. I don't care about them on the XFL roster. I'm talking about an NFL roster. These guys are putting everything they have. This is like their last shot. So I love seeing these guys just out there busting their tail for that last shot. I'm not one of these guys that's just, I'm not going to watch this because it's whatever. I love watching football. I love watching football. So I don't care. It's like, okay, week 1, I'll care. Because, half these guys, once week 1 starts, half these guys are just going to float through the season doing what they want to do.
I didn't say I wasn't going to watch. I just said people don't care.
No,
I watch any kind of football.
I think more people care than people think they do. I think what happened, again, we get in this shell of where we're around just sports people, so we think people don't care. If people didn't care, they wouldn't be talking about sports.
I love football so much. I watch the Canadian League because I'm waiting for the preseason.
The problem
with the preseason is not what you say. I agree with what you're saying there. That's a good reason to watch it, obviously. It's when you take one series and I got to look on TV and you spend a half hour dissecting what the number 1 quarter pick in the draft did in his first series and how he looked and break down every step that he takes.
Oh, I agree.
That gets tough on me. That really takes
I like the preseason because the Redskins are on Channel 9 here locally, so we get to see my man Chick Hernandez and Joe Theismann.
We got a booth from Big Ski over there.
The Redskins are trash. We own them.
What?
We your daddy. When the last time y'all won the game?
We need some child support then, man. Because we need some money, man. Your owner got the money. Then I like the owner. I love Jerry Jones.
No.
Will's a big Cowboy fan. I love that.
You about your owner. The checks are coming. Mama just spending money on the wrong stuff.
We need
Mama ain't buying
stadium.
Similac. She's buying steaks.
All right. Well, Redskins are we're gonna get better this year. I promise you that, Will. They're not gonna sweep us this year.
Yeah. Keep hope alive.
I know
I'm just saying.
The Redskins.
Let me know
I
how that
love the
turns.
Redskins like this. Let's keep them like this. I don't know why everybody picks on them. This is great. What's wrong with the Redskins? Nothing. I like them this way.
We're going to be back. We got rid of the corporal, and we got a division-winning quarterback in charge, a Pro Bowl guy, and Alex Smith. We're going to be better this year.
It's been so long as y'all been relevant, you need a GPS to find that.
Man, this is just awful. Is this how it is here?
Listen, man, that's how it goes.
We got Eagle, Johnny Come Lately Eagle fans. We got Cowboy fans.
We skipped the barbershop
Patriot
rules.
fans.
Yeah,
we've already kind of
there's only
touched
2
on
rules in the barbershop.
Yeah. But he had sex like what life is
Leave
like.
your feelings at home, and there are no rules. That's the barbershop rules.
They say the Panthers going to go 15-1 because it's the same preseason schedule they had when they went 15-1.
Too
What
bad
you
they
think
ain't
they
playing the
gonna do?
same players they did.
What's your thoughts on the Panthers, Ski?
Probably about 10-6.
10-6.
10-6.
10-6.
What about the Cowboys?
We'll probably be 12-4.
What are you playing in the Canadian League?
No, 2 wins against y'all,
that ain't
2
happening.
wins against the Eagles, 2 wins against the Giants.
That's
a
sick.
wrap.
We halfway there, right?
Yep, we
That's
halfway
sick
there. So,
10-6 for the Panthers. You have any outlook on and 12-4? I don't know what the
Them boys.
influence of some substances the Cowboys are going to be under.
I say Panthers 9-7.
9-7.
For the Panthers?
Yeah.
9-7 would be a good season.
Now this is not it.
You got TD's out 4 games.
Right. Now what about Thomas Davis? Does that target? Is he going to go in the Ring of Honor with a new owner coming in?
Yes.
With
Yes.
Jerry.
Look. Let
With
me
Jerry Richardson, he was guaranteed in.
Look. This got nothing to do with ownership. Thomas Davis is a good guy.
I think he is.
He's a good community guy.
Absolutely.
If I want to have the prototype of the community guy or the person that's good for the community, Thomas Davis is that guy.
But the thing is, he owned it.
When Luke Kuechly came in, and everybody knew Luke was going to be the new face of the defense. Thomas embraced it.
Yep.
Brought him under his wing. Thomas Davis epitomizes what you want a football player to be. Remember that.
Is this Greg Olson's last year? He auditioned for Monday Night Football. He did a 1 game for Fox on TV. Everyone said he did a great job.
They give him a check, probably.
Is it his last year? Do you want to keep playing football, or do you want to get be in the booth?
I'm gonna say it like this. I'm gonna say it like this.
What was that? What was that?
We got back.
What was that? What was that?
He said Greg Olson gonna play another year because of why?
He needs that check to put on his brother's books.
Kevin Olson dealing with rape allegations here in Charlotte. That's what that's about.
That may have been the coldest.
And I told y'all D is slick. Now. D got D come in here and say something slick quick on you.
They did that. Now, the last thing I heard was the court said he had to keep the monitor on for his brother.
Wait. Let me officially say, for the 2018 Black Draft, we trade Kelsey for my man right there.
For D.
We're going to trade him for him.
He made a trade.
Come on over to Blackville. We're going to trade you over.
He said come to Blackville.
We're going to trade you. We're going that first trade in the Black Draft.
You traded the rights of Khaki.
Yeah, we're going to trade the rights of Khaki Kelsey. and bring over my man D.
They want Gregory Hines for Eminem.
Hey, I told you.
Gregory Hines with Eminem.
I think Will's got heat with him because he's an Eagle fan. He's a Cowboy fan. That's what I
in
think.
the barbershop, baby.
Ether, no matter what can it come out of.
Ether in the shop, baby.
Bruh. You had to come with it, Kelsey.
But look, the reality, getting back to it, in terms of,
I don't think you can get back to it now.
No, you really can't. But when it comes to Olsen, I mean, it's real simple to me. Like, if you can still make 7 figures and not have to beat your body up, I will go in the booth in a minute.
Not go over the middle, not get hit hard.
Guess what? You got a longer career in the booth than you got on that field.
Not go across the middle and get hit by DJ Swearinger.
Don't nobody hit nobody in the NFL no more. We ain't gonna get that's a different discussion for a different day.
Roommate
Across the middle.
Yeah.
No, 185 degrees.
We need to bring Ronnie Lott back.
No more Dennis Smith.
You know who the one was though. See, his career was short because they kicked him out of the league. Chuck Cecil.
I thought it was
they kicked Chuck Cecil out of the league the way he was hitting people.
I thought it was a concussion issues.
No, yeah, he was
did bleed from the helmet too.
Listen, Chuck Cecil was killing dudes.
He was hurt. He was
a problem. Shout out to Chuck Cecil.
Alvin Walton.
Alvin Walton was a monster. You always gonna slide a Redskin in there.
And of course, Sean Taylor, maybe the greatest safety of all time, for the amount of time he had in the league.
Man, shout out to Sean Taylor, man.
I do. I love Sean Taylor.
Troy P was a monster.
You get that one.
Ski. Who's for
Give
you?
me Sean Taylor. All right.
Who's the hardest? Who's the safety that you just never can forget about?
Ronnie Lott.
Tim McCarr told us a great story about playing with Ronnie Lott, and that pinky story. He said, "Man, it's just a pinky hanging."
Yeah.
And that's,
look,
that's tough.
Tim McCarr,
it's either tough or stupid.
Low key, Tim McCarr was a damn good corner, and he didn't get a lot of credit because he played on the other side of Dion. I get it. You know what my favorite thing is? The fact that, because we in the barbershop, we just letting it fly. We ain't looked at the rundown. We ain't followed the rules yet. We ain't we way off script. We way off script, Kev.
We haven't looked at it in a few weeks, but that's another story. But all right, we're gonna go. He says to go to break, so we're gonna go to break. All right, we got college football to talk about.
Okay, fired up. Let's go.
We did. Some of these people did watch the HBO deal on Paterno. I'll get your thoughts on that.
Yeah.
But we've got Tar Heels, ACC football. We're coming back here at Blades Barbershop right after this.
He was about to say barbecue.
I was again because I want some barbecue.
Is there a Blades barbecue?
I don't know. There ought to be. Y'all ought to open something up. Get a damn grill out front, man. Get a grill out front. Get Alvin Gentry over here with some shell.
We're talking about sports on
We're talking about sports at ADSN. I don't know how to say that.
We're talking about
sports in, oh God, I forgot.
ADSN.
What is it?
ADSN.
ADSN, okay.
Yeah.
We're talking about sports.
Talking about sports.
We're talking about sports.
Talking sports.
Talking about sports. We're talking about sports on ADSN.
Talking about sports on ADSN.
All right, we ready?
And you may be the dunk now.
All right, we're here at Blades Barbershop. I keep saying barbecue because it's on my mind, but here at the Blades Barbershop,
You hung low.
there's a lot of shenanigans, a lot of goodwill, a lot of things that maybe couldn't be said here on a family show, but they happen here at the barbershop. College football, ACC schedules out. Clemson is always good. North Carolina, they have some good home games. Duke and North Carolina and Clemson all have a spring game. You like spring games. You played Penn State.
It's only two types.
April 14th. I guess that's this Saturday is a spring game.
Yeah, it's only two seasons in football, man. Regular season and spring season.
All right.
Football don't end, baby, especially at the college level. And, as Steve Spurrier would say, well, Clemson,
He's
they
gonna
go down
coach
there.
again, I
Yeah,
guess.
Dabo down there, Clemson. Let's see, we'll play them Tigers later on in the year. We'll beat them again, win the state championship because, Clemson, they can't really do too much with us.
It was a nice guy to me when
Dabo.
I introduced my son to him back when he was coaching the Redskins. He didn't do very good for the Redskins, but you got to like college football. Spurrier says he's going to coach again in one of those spring
Yeah, he's going
leagues.
to coach in the spring league. Throw it around a little bit so he can't win the football game.
He did say the two greatest quarterbacks in the history of the Southeastern Conference are Danny Werfel and Shane Matthews.
He would say that because he coached them both.
He did say that. He didn't remember guys like Ken Stabler or
At least one of them won a Heisman.
or Peyton Manning.
I'm going to guarantee you this. D over here, the resident Georgia fan,
Right, dogs, baby.
Barber,
Kirby
he will
Smart.
tell you that some Georgia quarterbacks are better than Shane Matthews and Danny Werfel.
There's a couple.
Name one.
Who you got?
Green, David Green. Hands
Who?
down. Look at the records.
Matthew
David Green
Stafford, I'll
put up.
give you, but who else?
David Green.
Who's he?
David Green, that's a good point.
Not
David
better than
Green
Werfel.
played with David Pollock. David Green set a lot of SEC records
Absolutely.
under Mark Richt and with Mike Bobo and those guys.
I like Coach Rick. He's a good man.
Now, speaking of that, who's a better running back? Who's better, Sony Michel or Nick Chubb?
You can't go wrong with either one of them.
I think Will made the great point about the number 2 guy was hot and they took him out and then Alabama came back and won.
Kirby Smart he out-tricked himself out of that game.
I do think
he had that championship game.
Man,
won.
listen, don't get me talking about them defensive backs. They tricked that game off on that last play.
No,
that safety need to be over the top of that daggone route. It's a 2 deep coverage. How the hell you get beat down the seam?
But all I know is only Jesus
Or down the
could stop
sideline.
Only 2 people could stop Sonny Michel that night. Jesus and Kirby Smart. And Jesus let him go. And Kirby Smart said, I'm going to stop him.
That's real. Yeah, I can't argue with that.
I don't know why he kept trying to go back to Chubb. Like, why?
Well,
like why? If it ain't working, you got somebody. He killing Alabama.
That's like what Dean Smith did to Jordan back in the 80s.
Yeah.
He only kept him under 20 a game.
He eventually got a championship, though.
Yeah, he did.
Good games coming to Clemson include Florida State, Georgia Tech, Pitt, Syracuse, BC, North Carolina, Virginia Tech, and Wake Forest.
Speaking of Florida State, and this is an interesting point, and you guys have heard me say
New coach coming in.
Yeah, Willie Taggart coming in, but you guys have heard me say 1,000 times on this show, Charlotte this area has a lot of high school football talent.
Lots of it.
To add to that, Sun Valley's quarterback, last name's Howe, committed to Florida State just the other day. So he's going to be heading down. Well, a commitment from a 17-year-old kid is exactly what it is. It's just written until he actually show up. It don't mean nothing. But committed to Florida State to play the quarterback position down there. That's a good get, and that is a sign.
Willie Taggart.
That everybody else in the country is realizing Charlotte and this general area is a place to come find high school football.
So I have to ask this: why, with the talents in the Charlotte area and surrounding areas,
Rock Hill.
Yeah, I mean Rock Hill, Salisbury, all those areas. Why has UNC Charlotte not put some money in getting a just slam dunk, just killer coach that can recruit in this area and put their program?
I got the coach.
First thing they got to do to that point is try. I do a lot of high school events. We just did the Carolina Senior Showcase. Talked to one of the coaches at a high school here. They put 19 kids in Division I football this year.
Yeah.
They have yet to see UNC Charlotte on their campus at practice or anytime.
That's inexcusable.
That's a problem.
Like I said, why don't they bring in a coach?
I'm hoping a new athletic director
kind of
can maybe make a good decision because, no offense to Coach Lambert. He's a good man, but he's not a good football coach at Charlotte. The results are 1-11 last year, Reggie.
He might need to go hire Paul Mary up at Mallard Creek or Brian Hales over at Butler. He needs to hire one of these local high school coaches and focus on this city.
If you put 19 kids in your area in Division I programs,
and none of them went to the school 8 miles from your high school,
that means you bring in a coach. He can recruit with an Uber budget. He never has to leave the 704 area code.
Let me tell you something.
Put your whole program
Mallard
together.
Creek and UNC Charlotte are less than 10 miles apart.
Yes.
Amen.
I can walk that.
Exactly.
I got
a car.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I can walk that.
I can get an Uber, but I'm not walking 10 miles. But I tell you, here's a name. How about and he has North Carolina ties. Former defensive coordinator at Texas Tech. He's now the assistant head coach at Oklahoma. He's a former head coach at East Carolina.
Just have us a name, man. Come on. Who?
Ruffin McNeil.
Ruffin McNeil.
I ain't from North Carolina.
If he wants to be a head coach again, if he should absolutely. If I were Charlotte, I'd be looking at him.
Who wants to come coach the 49ers? You know why they're called the 49ers? Because they don't cross the 50-yard line. They're not relevant. They'll never be relevant.
You know, serious. If you want to get serious about your program, that's a name you go get. If you're really serious about it.
He's a name guy who can get good offensive talent, which is entertaining football.
And they play for him. They've always played for him.
Coaches coach for him, and players play for him.
So D just said they're irrelevant. D, what would you say the ceiling is for Charlotte 49ers football?
They've already reached the ceiling. They ain't getting any higher.
The ceiling is the roof?
The ceiling is the roof.
The ceiling is the roof.
Well, according to D, the ceiling is the floor.
Who wants to leave the city and go hang out at university for a while? I mean, why go there? You can go anywhere in the country. What do you want to go 10 miles up the road and play here for?
But you know what? If you get a good coach come in, that changes. Winning changes everything. When Tiger said winning changes everything,
winning cures all ails.
It will. If you bring in a coach in and starts winning, especially in Charlotte, because this is the most fair weather town.
They got to start paying some power bills out here.
If you start winning, people that don't know. If you start winning in UNC Charlotte, people who have no idea what a campus is will buy season tickets. They will show up. Just like the Panthers. Let the Panthers lose 4 games. You can trade a Panther ticket for a bottle of water and a food stamp.
They're fair weather all day.
If they don't show up,
he ain't wrong.
But if they winning, but if they winning, everybody there.
Yeah. Cowboys come here, that place will be full.
Yeah.
Cowboy fans.
If the 49ers start winning games, people will show up. You bring in a good coach, and who you bring in? You bring a guy, a hot shot coordinator that's looking for his shot, that says, you know what, I can turn this around. One of those Skip Holtz kind of guys.
Bring Lane
like you
Kiffin
did with
South Carolina.
East Carolina.
East Carolina,
right?
Check that.
But only problem is, you get him here, they make a name, then one of the big boys is going to come gobble him up.
Yeah, a guy like Ruffin McNeil, who's been at East Carolina, he's got the North Carolina connection. I don't know if a guy like Ruff is going to go someplace else.
No, I agree.
Because he's from around here. He may want to stay here.
But here's something I don't think you realize with young kids. Young kids don't look at this stuff like you do. They don't care if Ruffin McNeil has North Carolina tie. These kids now, when you talk to these kids now, all this, well, he's got guys he went to this school with too. They don't care about that. They care about what's in it for me. Am I going to play? Are they going to see me? Can you get me in the league? If you can do
they're
that,
going to be on TV. They're going to get them new uniforms uniforms and all the other stuff.
They don't care if you showed up. I don't care if you coach, Division 1A high school at Trinidad and Tobago. If you can come, you go to UNC Charlotte. You say I'm gonna let you play. You gonna get seen. You got a chance to get drafted. They gonna sign with you.
That's real.
They don't care about
now
that.
to sell now, saying you can get in the league because now everybody can get in the league. They get Charlotte players at All-Star games. They get players from Villanova. I went to NFLPA All-Star game a couple years ago. The Villanova kid was there. Yeah. 1AA. If you can play, you're going to get in the league. So I mean, that's a good sell for anybody who comes into Charlotte. That's an easy sell. But I agree.
And Charlotte put that kid in the third round in Cleveland last year.
Yep.
So they got a draft pick under their belt.
I think Ruffin would be a great choice.
Say what?
Aggies came to town and put it on them 49.
Skeet talking about when A&T came to undefeated North Carolina A&T Aggies.
The silliest program in college football.
They came what now? They came down here and went Thump City on the 49.
Is that the guy from where the Bears? The guy who plays for the Bears?
Tariq Cohen.
Tariq Cohen.
Tell me why North Carolina A&T should be playing for a national championship game.
I agree. Now that's another issue.
They signed up for the contract playing the Who Cares About It Bowl down here.
The Kool in the Gang Celebration Bowl.
They made
the Kool in the Gang celebration.
They made what?
You know what Steve Harvey said about Kool in the Gang in the movie Titanic.
You know who? Yeah.
I like Steve Harvey, man. I like Steve Harvey, man.
You know who watched the Celebration Bowl? The alumni from those two schools. That's it. Yeah, you was on ABC.
I was at the game.
Good for you. Congratulations. But at the end of the day, you know who watched it? You and all your alumni and all their alumni.
He watched it because he was hating on it.
All right, but the thing is,
but you were probably the only connection.
If
you guys to be the national champion.
He watched it because he wanted to go.
I don't get that channel on cable.
Reggie made the good point that A&T was ranked, and had they gone through the 1AA playoffs, they had a good game. They would have hosted a game, and they could have made a long run. Maybe even got to the championship game.
They ain't never let us host.
But you would have
got a nice state.
You were undefeated. But you know why they won't now? Because y'all decided to play in the I don't give a damn bowl. That's nobody cares. But see, that's the problem with people now. They like, give me $1 million now. Don't give me $500,000 a year for life. You guys could have won a national championship. Now you start recruiting. You get better recruits in. You start getting better. You start getting more money. And these guys, now you're playing national championship. I won a Celebration Bowl. I won a national championship. I got a ring. I race against a lot of guys who got a lot of wins. I got a ring. You win 50 wins, but don't get a ring. They don't care what you did. For the rest of my life, I'm a champion. If you guys could have won a championship, that would have changed the whole
champions of the Celebration Bowl.
The points you made when you talk about UMBC. Speaking of, when we talk, that's a good point though, because we talked about what Loyola did this year in the tournament. And what UMBC did in beating Virginia. Speaking of which, if somebody called Mike, because I still ain't seen him since he talked all that trash, and he a Virginia fan, and they got beat by 16.
Yep.
That was in the shop, by the way. That was in the shop.
First time
waiting on Mike. But they were saying how,
are you getting a haircut today?
I am going to get a haircut in a minute. But Loyola got $200 million.
The show's almost over.
Free advertising.
Yes.
From winning those games and playing in that tournament.
You got to be. If you ain't running with the big dogs, stay on the court.
For the big hogs.
There you go, big hogs. Go hog.
All right.
You versus Arkansas.
All right, we got some racing to talk about. Boogity, boogity, boogity.
The sport I know.
All right, Will's got some racing talk.
Take a left.
We're here at Blade's Barbershop. Stay tuned to more talking about sports right after this.
4 lefts.
All right, welcome back to Talking About Sports. We're here at Blade's Barbershop. Next week, we'll be back at the Dilworth Neighborhood Grill. So let's have that speedy pizza, pretzel, the William Wilson and Reggie Walker
The Wilson Walker wings.
The Wilson Walker wings ready. All right, NASCAR. Kyle Busch, Joe Gibbs Racing, hail to the Redskins. Joe Gibbs Racing. Kyle Busch was fast last week.
Oh, he was. He pulled a Martin Truex last week. He was so fast. He was the class of the field without step. Only time they were close was on restarts.
Now, there's been some rules adjustment for the All-Star race. Mm-hmm. Now, it's just for the All-Star race, not the 600, right?
Right.
Kind of go over what is going to be different about the All-Star race this year as versus years past.
But then they got more segments for one thing. They have more stages. But they're going to have restrictor plates.
Restrictor plates.
They have restrictor plates, which I think are going to keep the field closer, which I truly appreciate as a fan of the race. But the All-Star race is always great anyway. And then they got the I think a 4-inch spoiler with two. But
I saw that. Yeah,
they have a different spoiler package, so that should help the downforce some as well.
And air inducts that are going to go to the brakes.
Air ducts, going to the brakes, yeah.
So you think it's going to create more excitement, more closer racing?
Mm-hmm. I think it will, because it gives everybody a chance. It almost makes it like a small Talladega to a extent. I think it probably had an effect with bringing that. So you can't get Martin Truex just take off and in 6 laps he's half a lap ahead of everybody else. They kind of restrict everything. So I think the race is going to be a lot better.
Do you think that NASCAR is looking at this as a trial balloon, that maybe they could do this on other 1.5 mile tracks like Vegas, Texas, and things of that nature?
They could,
if they, depending on the results.
Right. They could be. I mean, if you're going to do the testing on it, do it here on a race where there's nothing really to lose. I mean, the guys, the winners race for $1 million, but there's no points involved. So there's no real season implications. So I think in that aspect of it, if you're going to do a test like this, it's definitely worth it. You can't do it at the duels. No, you can't do it any place else.
Hey, say that one more. I talk a little bit. You know, I'm getting my cut, man. I got clippers in my ear. I mean, you know, help me out now. Let me stay in the conversation.
No, just saying, you know. Yeah. No, he just asked me if I thought the restrictor plates are going to they're going to test this for the 1.5 mile tracks. I said, I think so. It's the best time to do it because if you look at it, you can't do it during the Gatorade duels. That impacts where you start for the Daytona 500. So you can't do it there. And the All-Star race, there's no points implications. So you're racing for $1 million. So either you win it all or you get nothing. So if you're going to do a test like this under real conditions, that's the best time to do it.
Now, I get it, but for lay people, explain restrictor plates.
With a restrictor plate, they used to have carburetors. They don't have carburetors anymore. But basically, a restrictor plate restricts how much air gets into the fuel. So your air-fuel mixture is where you get your horsepower. So you restrict how much air you get come in, you basically slow the cars down. And by slowing the cars down, you'll keep them in more of a pack. So you got more competitive racing. So you don't get a guy where if they got a really good car, they're just that much faster than everyone else. And within 3 or 4 laps, they're half lap ahead of everyone else. It just stinks up the race.
I can understand what he's saying about keeping the pack, keeping the pack together. Actually, I'm just really learning. I'm just learning something new today. But I mean, it's interesting about it, keeping it packed. But how do you separate yourself to be a faster car or whatever? I mean, is it technique? You got to be on the low side. You got to be on the high side. What you got to do?
It depends on which groove is fast at the time. At Charlotte, it was called chasing the track. Because basically like the 600, you start racing in the daytime and then you race into the nighttime. So as the track cools off, you get more grip, the cars get tighter. There's a lot of changes where you're constantly trying to keep up with the track.
So you got to know when to change the tire. You got to know.
That's a whole different section of it. But it's your setup. What kind of spring package you're going to run, what kind of transmission you're going to run. Are you going to run a 323 or a 316 gear? All those types of things you're going to do. How you can have your tires staggered. You're going to do 2 tire stops or 4 tire stops, fuel only stops. It all depends on when your stops are coming in. It's going to be a fuel mileage race, what the weather's going to come in. There's a lot of things that go involved with that. But if you got where they're really packed together, now it can be on driver talent. You're driving your spotter, who is the guy that kind of tells you, lets you know where your car is on the track. So your driver-spotter communication, as well as your setup on your car, is going to do that.
I just want to make a point. I ain't never seen a barbershop this quiet.
Now,
ever. I think that's because he breaking it down right there.
I was about to say, Reggie, you might be thinking the same thing I'm thinking. William Wilson needs to be on one of these national broadcasts to make it simple for people to understand who may not be, because apparently they're losing a lot of ratings and a lot of viewers.
Boogity, 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 and boom, 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 boom.
Hey,
I also think of another thing when it's race weeks with the All-Star race and the 600. I also think it's time for the Clother Classic, which is when?
May 21st. May 20th, we got the party. The golf tournament is on May 21st, the Monday before Memorial Day. Come out there, get your swing on, help us fight domestic violence, help us raise some money for scholarships.
Can we tell these guys here at the barbershop about maybe putting a poster up or something going on with the Clother Classic?
Now, Warren like to get on that golf course. He's a lucky lefty.
Oh, you're a golfer? You guys gonna get out there, man.
A lot, yeah.
We'll talk about it after the show. I want Kevin killing me going, hey, this ain't a William Wilson Clother Classic commercial.
All right. I brought that up. No one asked me, but I'm just saying that's what I think about when it's race weeks. It's time for the Clother Classic. Now, final thoughts, Reggie. We'll start with you.
Final thought, man. I'm gonna go. Y'all know I love boxing, and I'm gonna go there again, man. Obviously, we seen Triple G, step out of that, or Canelo stepped out of the fight with Triple G after testing positive for clenbuterol. They said his sample was consistent with meat contamination in Mexico. Whatever. I'm not gonna sit here and get into whether he did or didn't or whatever. That fight is now gone. That fight's not gonna happen. That was probably it was probably number 1 or number 2 in terms of the biggest fights boxing could put together. The next biggest fight right now is Anthony Joshua, undefeated heavyweight, against Deontay Wilder, another undefeated heavyweight out of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I'm going to say it right now. If that fight is not made for this year, boxing, and we know boxing's in trouble in terms of fan base and bringing people back to the sport, but if they don't get that fight done, they're going to have even bigger issues. getting people back to the sport. There's no excuse for that fight to not happen.
All right, Mountaineer Mike.
Yeah, we haven't talked baseball at all this.
I love baseball.
Go Giants.
No. Then take the
It's
Dodgers.
an even year championship.
That's right. And take the A's with you. And so we haven't talked much baseball, and I'm a huge Mets fan. So
they're looking good.
Watching a guy like Giancarlo Stanton struggle in the Bronx is a lot of fun right now. But I would like to remind people who are paying attention, who watch, he's really struggling. He's got 23 strikeouts in 12 games. But he's hardly the first Yankee superstar to come into New York and have his troubles there. There's nobody who wants to see him go 0 for the season more than me. But there's a long list of guys who come to the Yankees with a lot of credentials and have struggled out of the gate, like an A-Rod, like a Reggie Jackson, like a Dave Winfield. So before all my friends back home who are Yankee fans, before they go jumping off a cliff or start booing them the rest of the season, by the end of the year, Stan's going to end up with 30-plus. He's going to have 120 RBIs. But right now, for a Met fan, I'm really enjoying the way he's playing.
They got 150 games left. We all need to calm down.
All right, Will, what do you got?
I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna take my time to give another shout out to Andre Ingram.
Right.
You know,
Highland Springs High School.
You know, stop that.
I'm just saying where he's from.
But we don't care. This is my time. You use your time. But I want to give him time to. Hey, we do it because we joke. That's how we joke with each other.
I'm supporting you 100%.
Yeah. But I want to give a shout out to Andre Ingram because in 2 days nobody talk about it ever again. You know, this is much bigger to me than just basketball. You know, we live in a society now where we want everything quick, we want it easy. If we don't get success in the first year, we give up on all this kind of stuff. For the guy to stick in there for 10 years to finally get his shot, and then when he finally got his shot, he was ready and prepared and did his thing. This is so much bigger than basketball or any kind of sports thing. Kids need to learn how to do this stuff now. Adults need to learn how to do this stuff. Andre Ingram set an example that people need to follow. Whether you want to get into business, everybody thinks you get a Facebook page or website and some business cards, and all of a sudden you're a mogul. And you want to start putting all this inspirational stuff on your Instagram pages. No, it's about putting in the work, going through the highs, the lows, the good, the bad, the nasty, the ugly, and the beautiful, till you get your shot, you get your chance. And now Andre Ingram is my guy. He only played one game, but in my heart, he Rookie of the Year.
Can you get a deal at William Wilson Clothing?
Absolutely. You got to pay.
Well, all right, we'll get a deal, but you got to pay something. All right. I'll tell his friend, a guy I went to college with, Sean Connolly, who did a very good feature on him on NBC 12 in Richmond. This is a guy, to your point, lived on a lot of lesser money, and he does a lot of things in the community, and he does a lot. And he sacrificed, just like you pointed out, and you didn't even know this, but he did a lot of the things you have just said to get to where he is. So shout out to you for pointing it out, and Andre Ingram for getting it done. Now, my shout out goes to the UFC, pro wrestling, WWE. You re-signed Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar's agents floated the idea, I'm going back to the UFC. Says he's drug-free. We'll see. Mark Hunt has a disagreement. He says you're juiced to the gills and on the gear. He's going to re-sign with WWE. So I don't know if they're still testing or they only test the guys that they want to fire. UFC, Nurmagomedov, this Ruski from Ossetia, he beat another guy who stepped up, so props to you. So the UFC, lower your prices, and maybe we'll get some more pay-per-view buys. So that's all we got. Anything else?
Yeah, I got one more. Well, as I sit here and get lined up by my man Big Weezy, Warren, holding me down. Always come through here at Blades. If y'all don't know where we at, Sharon Lakes, come on down to the shop. Warren, tell them how to get in.
What's the address? Sharon Lakes is a long road, bro.
Yeah, 7701 Sharon Lakes Road, Suite G.
You can put up with the.
And he said they take EBT, so y'all can bring the EBT in here.
That's Charlotte, North Carolina. 50 cents on the dollar.
You can put up with the Eagles and the Cowboy fans. This is your spot. It is an NFC East
barbershop. And I know she be cutting hair. And she be cutting hair. Y'all ain't seen a lot of shade, but come down here and get a plate too, because she be cutting.
Yeah,
where my plate at? I need some neck bones, macaroni and cheese,
chicken fries.
All right, for Mountaineer Mike Freer, Reggie Walker, William Wilson, I'm Kevin Casey. This has been Talking About Sports from Blades Barbershop.
See you next week.
All right.